Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another bite-sized episode of Teach Sleep Repeat. My name is Dylan,
And my name is Hayden.
and this is a very, very exciting episode because after months and months of not mentioning it once on the podcast because we just didn't want to open that can of worms, this is officially the first podcast where we are both moved house.
Brilliant. I really thought that was going to be a good little segment there. Well done, Dylan. You ruined it.
I'm sorry. Go on, Hayden. What's happened?
We are both now officially dads. If you've been following our podcast, you will know that we've talked about a bit about it in the past. And obviously, Dylan became a dad, and I was very close. And now we're both dads. We're in that world. So, Dylan, we're grown up now. Our podcast is going to be a lot more sensible, wise, you could say, from now on.
Yeah. How much has she pooed?
Oh, mate, she pooed in my hand. Day one. I couldn't believe it. Oh, it was brilliant.
I suppose what I wanted to start with, because it's really exciting. Like, let's just get away. It is like mega exciting. Like, you know, I've had another friend who's recently had a baby as well. My friend group over the last like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's been an influx of babies, but there is just something about you and I having our first babies at the same time where we do spend so much time together. It's been really nice to just immediately have like the barriers down. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing out of bounds. And what I wanted to do to start with was just draw your attention back to our episode. I think it was 3 or 4 ago, becoming a parent, when I did my first one. And I just want to ask you, now you've had your baby.
Yeah.
How do you see what I was saying in a different light, or does it make more sense now? Like, what's your reaction?
Well, I'll say 2 things. Firstly, one thing on the bit you're just talking about, right? So loads of people have. I know you've had the same. Loads of people have said to me, "Did you plan it? Did you and Dylan plan this to have at the same time?" And I'm like, "No, we didn't plan it. It just kind of happened." But like subconsciously, it's funny because I do wonder. We probably did start talking about starting families and things. And then, you know, that seed was sort of there, like, you know, we didn't plan it, but yes, we planned it.
We didn't plan it, but yes, we put a day in the diary for conception.
And someone else said, didn't they? Did we plan the names?
I know. So the names, for anyone who isn't up to date, I'm sure if you've listened to the podcast, you know my son's called Rory. I go on and on about it. And your daughter is called
River.
So it just goes together so perfectly.
It's
so
nice.
Yeah, no, you're right, Hayden. It feels right. It feels nice. So what else were you going to say about that?
Yeah, back to like your actual question. So obviously, because you had Rory 6 weeks ago, is that right now? 7
weeks. Today.
7 weeks ago. And obviously, because we're quite close, it was actually really, really, really helpful. Because you kind of went through it all first, and I was taking a lot of mental notes of things you were saying and like reactions you were having, and kind of how many days were passing when you were doing certain things or feeling certain ways. And it was really helpful. It's been really helpful for us. You know, we're only like a few days in. Like I'm losing track. I guess we're 5 days in. It's all one massive blurry day to me at the moment. I can't really fathom the fact that it's been more than a day. But it's been nice because that there've been times where I'm like, no, okay, right. You know, Dylan said he had a bit like this. I'm having a breakdown, basically. I'm thinking, oh my God. I almost had a breakdown. I'm not even joking. In the hospital, we had the baby, and it was the first night after. So we had the baby basically in the middle of the night anyway. So the next night comes across, and I was unbelievably tired. You know, and exactly how you said you were feeling. Like I was like at that delirious level of, I'm so tired. I've had 2 hours sleep in about 48 hours at this point. And the baby is just screaming, just wailing. And I'm like, cool, I have no training. I have no idea what to do with this thing. It's just here screaming at me. Like Lauren's absolutely knackered as well next to me. She's just had a C-section. And honestly, I felt like crying. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm sat on a blue chair of doom thinking I can't even sleep on this thing anyway. Oh man, and I nearly had a complete breakdown at that point. But I did sort of think, Dylan said this as well, and then he was okay. So
there is something about shared pain, like, because I don't know how you feel about this, because I'm trying to be as candid as possible, because I think it would have really helped me if I heard more people being this candid, because you always get, you know, those types where we talked about it before, they kind of grind you down a bit when they say, oh, just you wait for this. It's going to be awful. It's going to be bloody awful. And that used to annoy us, didn't it? We used to speak about that. And, you know, it was really refreshing when someone said, Oh yeah, but you are going to have your own child. It's going to be amazing for all these reasons.
There
But
are
I will,
some positives.
yeah, there are positives. But I don't know. I still felt in that first couple of weeks that I could have just done with a bit more of someone being really honest about how hard it is. Like,
Mm.
it's so incredibly hard and tricky, and that it's okay to feel annoyed. It's okay to get angry at times inside yourself because your clock is just completely thrown off your entire life. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have those moments where you look into your baby's eyes and it's the best feeling in the world,
Mm.
but objectively it's really tough. And I think
Mm.
it's nice at least to hear that you feel like you can at least reflect on that and be like, well, it's okay that it's not going to make it better immediately, but it's okay that it's hard.
Yeah, because someone else I know has also experienced this, and it just validates your feelings just that little bit more, because you do get insecure. It's just a thing. Like, it's all brand new to us. Of course, we're insecure. Like, we have no idea if we're doing the right things or not. So to know that someone else did it, even just one person, is like, okay, well, at least someone else has done this. So it's not completely like we're not just completely alone in this. Yeah, it's weird. It's isolating in a way, but the nice sides of it, like it's brought me and Lauren even closer than ever before, because it's a proper team effort. Like, we have to work together on this. We're starting to tag team just to get some sleep. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're working that out between us. And I don't know. It's been really. I've really, really, really enjoyed the process so far. And I have had those few moments where I wanted to literally run away. I was like, I can't cope with this. It's not for me. I'm not the person. It's not for me. That's it. I'm done. But yeah, like you said, you look into her eyes, or you feed her. I don't know what it is about feeding, but oh man, like it's just such like a bond, isn't it?
It's
But
special.
I tell you what, something that speaking candid, then, so something I really struggled with, and so did Lauren, and she won't mind me saying this, is we had quite a rough start, as you know, and I won't go into the details of that, but we had an emergency C-section, as most people will probably know what that is. And because of the situation and it being the middle of the night, and it wasn't, when we planned we had a planned C-section, but this wasn't the day, this was an emergency. And the baby, came out, and Lauren and I we just didn't connect with her straight away. And obviously we felt really guilty for that, because people always talk about the connection that you feel straight away. And we just didn't, because we were like, whoa, like a half an hour ago, we were in bed asleep. Like, and we were dreaming about what we think this baby is going to look like. And we had this image in our head, individually for both of us. And then suddenly there was like, here you go, here it is. And we were like, whoa, okay, this is not our baby. This isn't it. This isn't the plan. That's not what she looks like. And we just didn't have the connection straight away, because she didn't look like what we thought she would. So that was really weird. But it has come over time. I think it took a bit longer for Lauren, because she has just been sliced open, and she's healing from that. Didn't get any bonding time at the start, because she's recovering from that. And, the midwives and I'm getting those little cuddly moments. But for Lauren, it's like, oh, wow, she's crying now. Here you go. Try breastfeeding. And it's like, that's not nice, really. But now, like, we're a few days in, that bond is starting to get really strong, and I'm enjoying watching it in Lauren as well, like her and River, as much as I have experienced it as well. So I don't know because what about you guys with the whole bonding? Like, was that a thing for you, or did you feel more of an immediate connection?
Again, I don't know. It's a tricky one, because again, linking back to your experience, we also had C-section. And it's just, everyone who's involved or knows about the processes, whenever you have a C-section, mum is just more incapacitated for longer and has to recover, because natural birth, it's what your body's designed to do. And it's a horrific process, and it hurts a lot, but you can very quickly bounce back from that and be up and going. So for us, it was a weird one, because for days and days and days, probably weeks still, I suppose now, because looking back, the first 2 weeks is just blurred into one. Like, I could not tell you anything different about day 1 to day 14. Genuinely, like, it is the exact same thing. It was just, I'm doing everything as I should be, because mum's recovering, and that means that if baby's crying, I have to get baby, and I have to give baby to mum, so mum can soothe baby. And we tried breastfeeding for a long while at the start, so that meant mum was up constantly breastfeeding, but couldn't move properly because she's still sore. Yeah. And so I was passing, I was up, I was awake, I was putting her down, I was soothing her. I just kind of went into do everything mode. And we had the discussions before about sleep deprivation and hallucinations and things like that. So that was very weird. I didn't really have a chance to even think that I wasn't bonding with him. But I never ever felt what you're saying personally. I never felt like I didn't have that bond with him. But again, definitely more tricky rather with the mum, with Lauren, because and I think this is true. It's amazing having those moments together, and it's amazing when you get to introduce your little one to your family, to your people who you want to see her and him. So that was a weird process though, because amazing for us to see Rory with his grandparents, see Rory with his aunties, see Rory with our good friends, with you guys, everyone who's come to see him so far. But Lauren would say after a few hours of seeing people, it felt sometimes a bit like like he was a bit of a toy. It's not nice. And then what would happen is he'd be lovingly in the arms of someone, and we'd see that, and isn't he so restful and cute? And then only when he starts fussing do we take over. So it became very much like our time with him was soothing, feeding, then he was asleep.
And not a nice bit.
Yeah, it was we had to really ring fence that time and just say no to people sometimes and be like, we're going to we need a day together where it's just us three and we're just going to chill out. And that really made us feel better. So that helped with the bonding as well.
But again, you going through that is, I know that happened, and that's really helped us, because then yesterday we were quite aware of that, and we were like, nope, no visitors, because we just needed that day. And we did it way earlier than maybe you did, because we learned from you.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. And we stayed in bed probably till like 2 p.m. But all the time, it was just constant. Like, you're just getting up and doing things. But then it was like, okay, let's go back. Let's go and chill. Let's relax. And we had some really nice moments. Like, I'm a really tactile person.
You always try and touch me. It's horrible.
Yeah, only around you. And oh man, it literally melts me. I have melted these last few days, because I've been sat there with her in my lap, and she's in a bit of a wake window, but she's chilled, like she's just fed as well. And I'm just like stroking her little face, or stroking her. She's got a massive head of hair, believe it or not. Just stroking her hair and watching her little eyes, that thing where they sort of close and they roll into the back of her head, where she's just relaxed. And it's just so special. I can't get over how I feel, because I didn't think I would. So I'm one of those people who, on the lead up to it, and this is going to sound really harsh, but it's not, I was starting to worry if I was going to regret this, genuinely. Because there is data out there there's stuff like a lot of people regret being parents and things like that.
It's
and
objective.
I was just thinking, I was like, I could be one of them. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I am a bit worried. I'm quite selfish. Like, I do like my own time. I like my evenings where I get to do what I want, uninterrupted. And I was really starting to panic. I know. And I've never been a big fan of babies. Like, I don't care for babies. I've never been around them, and I'm not really interested in them.
Well, it's all added up as to why you did it.
Yeah, I know. This is what I'm talking about. So I was really scared. Like, that I was thinking, have I just done the thing? Because that classic, like, society's made you do this thing, and now you think that's the thing to do. And I was really, 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 really worried. And I can't believe how secure I am in thinking that's not me.
I've got to come in, because you said this thing to me, and I think this will put a lot of people's mind at ease, hopefully, if they're going through the same process and having the same kind of anxieties as you. Because, we've always had this discussion leading up. Me and you have been very different. I've always had cousins in the family who are babies. I've always felt very comfortable around babies, young children. I enjoy their company. I like playing with them. I like holding them. I feel quite comfortable in that role. And you've not had that. So we're very different there. And we always had that conversation leading up where I said to you, it will be different when your baby comes. There'll be something that kicks in. And it was really nice to just see that had happened. Like, see you with her, she's crying, and you've picked her up without thinking, and you're soothing her, or she's, on your shoulder, or you're talking to her, you're feeding her.
Yeah.
What can you kind of describe what happened, from going from one thought to she's here and now you're just doing it?
It's so bizarre, because I still kind of feel the way I felt about like strangers' children. It's different with me and you, because we're very close. But if it was like someone I didn't know very well, I think I'd still be the same. I'd be like, oh, go away! Like, I don't want a smelly newborn, a baby near me. But with my baby, it's like, she is just an extension of me. It's so bizarre. I can't even describe it. But I feel so differently towards her. Like, and I just really, really, really want to be near her, like, all the time. I just want her there. And I was quite nervous, like, as you know, about, like, when you introduced me to Rory, I was quite nervous about holding him, picking him up, because I don't have any experience. But I think you're just thrown into the deep end a bit. And I was sat there in hospital thinking, it's my baby now. Like, the stakes are different. And not to say that if you drop your own baby, it's fine. Obviously not. But like, if you slightly mishandle your baby, you make them cry a little bit, you learn from it, and it's your baby. But if you do it to someone else's, it's a bit awkward, because it's like, probably shouldn't have done that. And it was just like, cool. I just mucked in. I was just like, cool, get involved, do it. Your baby's there crying, give her a cuddle, and see if she likes it. And then within 2 days, I realized I've spent 10 hours manhandling this baby, and I'm quite good at it now. And it's only been a few days, and now I'm sort of like one-handed walking around the house, swinging her around, like trying to keep her quiet, and because she likes that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I thought I couldn't do this days ago, and I feel much better now. So very, very weird experience, very transformational. I know it sounds quite profound, but sappy from us, because we're normally taking the mick. But it really is. It really is a profound experience. I've absolutely loved it. Like, I'm cherishing this time at the moment. Don't get me wrong. There are times when I just want to walk out and shut 9 doors so I can't hear the screaming. But that's normal. I hope.
Isn't it crazy? I was just saying this to you earlier. Isn't it absolutely crazy how the time of day and your tiredness level can completely change your perspective of something? Because if I hear crying or screaming and it's like 2 PM, I'm well rested, I'm like, oh, darling, come here, let me burp you. Oh, come on, little baby. If it's 1:30 AM and he's been up for 4 hours, I'm like, can you please go to sleep, little man? And we can't have a technique, haven't we, Hayden? A little way to be angry, but do it in a really nice way for our baby.
So I was singing. I've sung quite a few songs. Something last night about. I was saying, like, please shut up, or Daddy's gonna have a meltdown. Daddy's gonna have a meltdown. Daddy's gonna have a meltdown. I'm just singing to her this song, like almost crying, because I'm just so tired. It's like 4 AM. It's the 3rd time I've been up. I just want to sleep. Oh yeah, but you've been doing it as well, haven't you? Just singing stupid songs and
just sing absolutely stupid songs, and change lyrics. I sing nonsense to him constantly. There's one song, what is it? I think it's from Matilda, the musical, that sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty or something like that. And the joke is that I just don't know the lyrics to the song, and I completely make it up every single time. And now there's like the word story constantly in there, and I'm like, this is amazing. It rhymes with Rory, so now I just say his name. Talking absolute rubbish. But can I say one thing? Mm-hmm. The best thing that's happened this whole time, because I'm going to say it again, it's really hard, and I don't care how many times I say it. I don't care if people get annoyed at me for being like, oh, it's your baby. Some boomers are like, oh, no, it's not. It's hard. It's really hard. It's really tricky. But Rory smiled the other day, and
you said,
I honest, like, legit, anyone listening this far, you get this little tidbit again. I've said this plenty of times on podcast. Just cried. Just absolutely just cried, because it was just unbelievable, because you can tell the difference. He's been doing gassy smiles forever, a little little turn up at the cheek because he's trying to push out a fart or something. But this was him responding to, like, me being silly and saying his name, and his whole face lit up. And I was reading him a story. I was reading him a book, and it was just so special. It was just so crazy. And now I've got this really strong urge to constantly read to him as well, because it happened when we were reading the book. And
that's
I don't know. It's a weird one. One thing I was going to ask you, because you were a bit skeptical about reading, weren't you? Like, in the womb and stuff. And, I mean, it makes sense. I always took the mick, but it does make sense. Like, should I read in the womb? Because they're just developing. Is there any point? Have you had any urges yet to kind of do things that you don't think necessarily make logical sense before baby came, but now baby's here, you're like, oh, I want to do all the things?
Well, I guess the reading is kind of one, because I guess it's not that I have a problem with reading. I just knew that it was just about them hearing a voice and language. It's not about them reading an actual book.
It's enjoying the book.
It's just you talking to them.
That's a good narrative.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's not the key bit. It's the voice, like, interaction. So I have been making sure I do that a lot. Like, really just talking to her, just all the time. Trying to sort of, especially when she's awake, sort of trying to really lock eyes, because I heard that they form a lot of that connection through eye contact. So really trying to just hold her eye contact and talk to her. We've got those little black and white cards, just like trying to stimulate her vision. Yeah. And she responded to that for the first time a little bit today. Like I did it on like day one. she's literally a potato at this point. Can't see like past her own hand. And I'm like,
what's 7 times 6? God.
Look at these black ducks on a white background. And but today I gave her some like stripy patterns and things. And I was moving it, and she really was like tracking it and looking. I was thinking these are cool little things. Like they probably do nothing, but I just think whatever, it's making her look at something, so that's cool. I'll do that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're gonna grasp onto anything. I think we could chat. Let's round this off, because we want to go and see our children. We want to go see our little babies.
Well, here we are. Look, there's 2 ways to round this off. There's one, we can do something really, really real about the NHS, and we can have a proper conversation about that. We can save that for another time. Or we can just talk a couple of more funny stories about baby, because I do kind of want to say something about baby weeing and pooing.
Okay. Do you think the NHS thing we could do in like 3 minutes, 4 minutes?
No. I think it's a big conversation, and I'm actually thinking now it's a hook to come and listen to our next episode, whenever that's going to be, because I'm quite tired.
I really thought you were going to just say yes.
No, I realised, I was like, actually, that's a proper serious meaty conversation about like systems and things, because I do want to talk about it. We had both an amazing experience, but also on an objective level, also put us in a really bad position where we could potentially have lost our baby. Yeah. And that's a really, really, really big and difficult conversation to have, and maybe we'll save that one. So for now, let's talk about pee and poo.
Let's get lighthearted, shall we?
So going back in time a bit, right? I remember when you had me in stitches, and everyone that was listening, if you haven't listened to the episode, by the way, about Dylan becoming a dad, what was it called, the episode?
Becoming a parent, celebrating farts, something like that.
Yeah, you have to go and listen to it. It's by far our best episode in terms of just pure laughter. Anyway, but you told a story about Rory just like peeing all over you. That was one of your many stories, right? And I remember thinking, I'm so glad I'm having a girl, because with boys, obviously, they got that little willy just going everywhere, just weeing everywhere, a little hose pipe. But yeah, so I was thinking, at least I've got a girl. And I do know that, quite often when you take nappies off children, they like to wee because it's cold. It's that stimulus, especially with like a wet wipe or something. They just want to wee. And I have been weed on so many times already. And
before the birth.
yeah. But there's this one time that I just want to tell you about, because it made me laugh thinking of you and Rory, where I was changing her nappy, and I'd thought, well, at least she's not got a willy. If she wees, she wees. And I pulled her legs back, and I swear to God, she projectile peed all over everything, like all over me, all over the mat. And I looked at her and thought, I can't believe I thought I'd got away with this. And she's just peeing everywhere, like just like a fountain.
Is that even? But this is where we really show our male bias here. Is that a thing?
Well, like, clearly,
it's happened once. Women be listening to this going, I can do that. What are you about? I didn't think that was possible.
I'm going to guess it depends on how bursting you were, because that was the biggest wee she had. All the other ones have been like little trickles, have not been a problem.
So all this time, women could have used the urinal. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, basically, women, you're having us on. We're on to you now.
You just want a fancy cubicle, don't you?
We need it. We can't aim. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I've seen it.
River can aim.
All you have to do is lean back, put legs in the air. It's really easy. Okay.
No. Hayden, we're not going to start mansplaining how to wee to half the population.
I just love the idea of that being a legitimate way that people go to the toilet. Has anyone got the changing mat room? I just need a big giant changing mat, so I'm just going to lay down.
Maybe that's the secret of the women's. I've never been in there. Maybe that's what happens. It's just like archery on the ceiling or something, and just lie down. You get 10 points. I don't know.
Oh man, but I wanted to share that with you because it did make me laugh. I thought I got away with it.
No,
I didn't. But there'll be plenty more wee and poo stories, I'm sure.
I think wee and poo stories always go down a treat. This is a bite-sized episode. Like we said, we're going to aim to try and get a real episode done this week, but it just might not happen, guys. And I'm sure you can appreciate why that's the case. So we'll be in touch. One last thing I wanted to say, Hayden, before we go. A fantastic week for our Instagram, for our following. Have over 1,000 followers now on our Instagram page dedicated to the podcast. If you're one of the new listeners, you're an absolute legend. Send us a message, because I've been getting messages, Hayden, from messages that I've said to people about 6 months ago on a previous podcast where I've said, send us an emoji. That
Oh
sums
yeah.
up, the episode so far. I got a seal and a panda, and I was like, "What is this? What you? Oh!" And it just clicked. And there's one last thing I want to ask for, Hayden. I've not asked for it in a while. I bet you can probably guess what it might be. Because we had a flurry of them when it was at the start, and we got a really high number of reviews, and reviews really help us out. We've been stuck on the same number for a little while now. If you're a new listener, if you've been listening for a while and you haven't done it yet, please do consider giving us a bit of
think of the children.
help. Yeah, think of the children.
Think of the children. Would you?
For us?
Are you going to deny a child a review?
Yeah.
Don't know about that.
Don't know, because we will tell them. We will tell them when we're feeding them. You didn't give us a review.
You'll make them cry. So I think that's fair enough. That's a nice, polite way to ask our viewers.
Customers, as it were.
Customers. And if you are viewing, I hope you've enjoyed it today. There has been a little bit of sick on my jumper this whole time, for anyone with a keen eye. So another reason to get viewing these episodes. Guys, you're missing out.
Number one top tip: do not wear black when you're nursing a child.
Or clothes, actually. Just don't wear clothes because they just get ruined. So
you're right.
Top tip.
You're right. Anyway, should we wrap it up there, guys? Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to leave it with Hayden to sign us off with his sleep-deprived little head.
Cool. See you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.